Welcome back, Pure Picks fam. I'm here with my man Gerard. We're going to start this video off by recapping UFC Atlantic City, Blanchfield versus Fioro. After that, me and Gerard are going to give our best bets for UFC Vegas 90. Then we're going to, bounce ideas off of each other, see if we agree or disagree with each other's best bets. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. First off, Gerard, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. We didn't do too bad last card, so let's go.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I'll start. So overall, we profited 1.33 units, so 18% ROI. Not the best, but never gonna complain if we end the night positive. So want to first talk about the best bet that I had last week. It was the over 2.5 loopy. So I think that one hit pretty comfortably. It got a little bit dicey in the third round, but loopy is very tough. And then it was actually a two-leg parlay. It was over 2.5 for the other women's fight, but Dudakova had some medical issue, so that one scratched, and it ended up profiting 0.37 units. Uh, Quickly wanted to talk about another fight that I played this two-leg Fioro to win. So if you watch that fight, Fioro looked like a minus 2,000. I was very confident that Fiora was going to win, so it really surprised me that she was the underdog. But nonetheless, it was a good hit, plus 224. Uh, so Gerard, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I had the over 2.5 on the Malkoun fight, which was I feel like was kind of fluky because Petrosky he got knocked out by headbutting Malkoun's stomach or hip and got
It hit, yeah.
so I think that fight should have went longer. And for the we also added Algio to that parlay with the over 2.5. And I think we shouldn't have put Algio in that one. We could have just played something else like Kowlin Lofren, which we added in multiple parlays, but yeah, that one didn't hit. Um, my Emers pick was a bad one. Jamal Emers, he looked like he was winning, but again, with a big crowd, Nate Landwehr came out on top and made it a dogfight. And Emers chose to brawl in the inside, which was unfortunate. And he would have won if he wasn't getting into that brawling exchange. So some bad picks on me, but as a whole, we came out positive for pure pickers.
Definitely, man. And that's the most important thing, just coming out positive each week. Definitely, it's what we strive for because always feels bad to give out picks and those picks end up losing. So glad we came out positive. We really needed it. So happy about that. So we want to carry that momentum forward to this card for UFC Vegas 90. Brendan Allen versus Chris Curtis 2. I think it's going to be a pretty exciting fight card. Do you have any thoughts on the, fight card as a whole, Gerard?
Um, there's some good prospects in here, and even though there's not so many good names, I would say I think this will be still an entertaining fights on the card.
Definitely. So why don't we start with you first? What is your best bet for this week?
So this week, I'm gonna keep it simple, and I'm gonna go with the underdog that I have for this week, which is Jermaine Durandamy. Am I saying that right? Jermaine Durandamy. Yeah, former champ coming back strong after I think a 3-year layoff.
Yes, her last fight was over 3 years ago, and she submitted Juliana Pena. So if we look at the odds right now for this fight, she's at a plus 165, which is a really good value. So can you tell pure pickers why you like this? Why you are picking Jermaine?
So this one, I'm picking Germain here because when I analyzed Norma, the Immortal Dumont, I'm looking at her wins and I'm not too impressed with the fighters that she's been beating. And these fights have been going to decision as well, so she doesn't have that finishing factor along with those wins. And when you look at the types of fighters that she's been losing to taller, lengthy fighters in her matchups, and she struggles with that length. But besides that, I do like Norma as a fighter. She's got good boxing, good stand up. She takes her time. She doesn't rush things. She's okay in the grappling. She has a better clinch game than her wrestling, but I see sometimes she gets handled on the grappling a little bit, but she's okay enough in that aspect. I do like her as a fighter though. And I know a lot of people are like probably going to pass on this fight, but because it's women's MMA and Jermaine Durandamy, even though she's been gone for over 3 years, I think there's a reason she's coming back, and the person at the top is no longer Amanda Nunes, and she already beat the person who's holding the title right now, and she's long, and Dumont struggles with that length, and Jermaine, she's pretty well rounded in terms of grappling and striking, and I think she has Norma beat in the kickboxing. Um, and I think that's where a lot of this fight will be in that range, in that boxing kickboxing range. And I think Norma will get frustrated a little bit trying to get to Durandamy on the stand up. And yeah, I'm just not too sold on this being a long layoff for Durandamy, that it's that big of a factor in this fight. I think she's probably avoided the wear and tear by not getting hit for those 3 years, and I think she's had a baby too, and I think she took enough time to come back. So I got Jermaine here as my best underdog on this card.
Yeah, this one's interesting. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think, when people see the 3.5 year layoff, I think it's a pretty easy pass fight. But it seems like you think that there is still some, value there. Let me ask you this. Had there, if it wasn't a 3.5 year layoff, and let's say she's just coming back like like a year ago, right? What do you think the
Mhm.
odds would be?
I think the odds might be closer than this.
Do you
I
think
think, yeah,
it, do you think she's still an underdog, or is she a favorite, a pick 'em? Like, what do you think?
I think there might be a possibility that she'll be the favorite. It had this happened much earlier, but I think an underdog just based off of her age and stuff. But I don't know how big of a factor age plays into women's MMA. We've been seeing girls like Carolina um, beating 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 these younger fighters. I think she's on like a 4 or 5 win streak.
Yeah, and this fight also, being in bantamweight, like a heavier weight class,
Mhm.
I feel like also, you don't need to have like the best cardio at bantamweight for women's MMA. It's just my opinion, so that could be something as well. Another thing that stood out was that she beat Larissa Pacheco, and Larissa Pacheco is like really good. I think she fights in the PFL, and she literally
Mhm.
kills everybody in the round in the first round. Obviously, this one went to uh, decision. I remember watching, this fight. So she has a
Mhm.
very impressive record, only losing to Amanda Nunez twice, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and she, she hasn't lost to anyone that other than really Amanda Nunez as of late, and only she's only lost to like an animal type of fighter, and I don't know if Norma has that in her to bring that type of style.
Got it, got it. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a decent pick. I myself am a little bit afraid of that, 3.5 year layoff. That's a ton of time. Who knows if she's been, sharpening her skills? But I think, it's a worthwhile stab. In terms of unit sizing, what are you thinking for this?
For me, for right now, I have a unit on Jermaine as of
Nice.
right now, early in this week, and we'll see how they look in press conference and weigh-ins.
So real quick, I actually wanted to see what the fight opened at. Let's see. So Jermaine opened up at as a plus 180 dog. So she was immediately bet down to plus 140, but now she's sitting at plus 165. So, from when she opened at plus 182 to now, seems like some people have been taking some dog action. So that's interesting right there. But I think it's a good pick, and I definitely hope it cashes. So why don't we move on to my best bet, and you can tell me what you think. So I actually have a unit on. It's also an underdog pick. We have one unit on Alatang Haley against Victor Hugo. Where can I find him? At plus 105. So the reasoning for this pick is, man, I just think this Victor Hugo guy is like a joke, man. Just watching his contender series fight, like I know for a fact this guy is going to gas out. Like he throws the most wild, looping shots, uh, like these little spinning wheel kicks. He towards the end of round one, uh, he did this thing where he swept his leg trying to trip the other opponent. Just very, very exaggerated and big movements that gas you out fairly easily. And I could tell, even towards the latter part of round one, and especially in round two, he was breathing out of his mouth. So I know this guy will gas. And I believe he got a knee. What was it? He subbed the opponent in the Contender Series fight, and the way he got him to the ground was very it was a very meme-ish way that he got the opponent to the ground. And so I don't think he's going to be able to do that against Alatang Haley, who's been a veteran in the UFC. And I promise you, I'm not betting Alatang Haley uh because he's Asian. So this is not a this ain't a biased pick. I'm telling you, he's going to win at a plus 105 underdog. I think that's great value. I checked fight odds, and he did open up as a plus 150. I wish I got into that earlier. So, I definitely understand the line movement. I personally have two units on Alatang Haley. Man, I just can't believe this line. I think Victor Hugo is a joke. So, let me know, let me know what you think about that pick, Gerard.
Yeah, for this fight, I do kind of like Victor Hugo a little bit, but maybe just because I like his dynamic, crazy style at times,
Yeah,
and he does have round one, round one. He has a few unanimous decisions here,
that is.
but the last one was in 2019. Hmm.
Yeah, no, I mean that is very true. Like looking at his record, he has a bunch of unanimous decision wins, which would suggest that, he has the gas tank to go all three rounds. But I mean, I can't see it, I mean, like you said, his last one was in 2019, so that's still that was a few years back. And looking at this, he was overweight to the Daniel Marcos fight, which got canceled. Um,
Mm,
but I also wanted to mention that, like, I think the only way that Alateng Haley loses if he gets knocked out, because if you look at Alateng Haley's record, he does have uh, three knockout losses as well as a submission loss. But if you look at his record, the last loss that he had where he got finished was in 2017. So also, a few years back. So, I mean, I personally just can't see it. Um, what what else besides his flashy style, like, do you like about Victor Hugo?
I think he looks like he does have some submission threat, but I think he's probably going to be only dangerous in around the first round, maybe early
Hmm.
second.
Hmm. Agreed.
And usually in these fights, this is the first vet he's facing in the
Hmm.
UFC, and
Hmm.
I usually side the vet with these new contender series debut guys. But early last year, I did was picking Victor Hugo against another fighter, but I don't think that panned out.
Yeah,
But yeah, I usually side with the vet here, but for me, it's still kind of a little scary.
definitely, definitely. And like on that same note, I predict a round two. I predict a round two or a round three finish. So I want to quickly see what the odds for a round two finish. Yeah, Alatang Haley plus 800. I'm taking that. I'm taking that guy. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I'm gonna take Alatang Haley in round two for plus 800, and I might look at round three for plus 1,000. Because I just feel really confident that he's going to win, and I might eat my words, but fuck it, man.
Mhm. I don't
Um,
think it's a bad play at all.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So with that said, those are our best bets. Gerard, do you have any, last words about this card or, anything else?
Uh, I think there could be a few underdogs on this card that could come out on top, which is why I wished I picked Fioro the last card because that was the underdog for me
Mm.
last card, but I didn't put her in here. So this time I'm going with Jermaine on this card, another underdog women's MMA.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. I guess real quick, you want to just give the pure pickers one underdog that you're looking at that you like?
One underdog. Well, Jermaine was the one that I gave, right?
Yep. Do you have another
And
one?
then I'll throw in. I was looking at Caesar Almeida a little bit
Okay.
and Damon Jackson, the
Yeah.
main event. So I was considering those two guys, but I went with the girl,
For sure, for sure.
with Jermaine Durandamy,
Yep.
who's a former champ.
Exactly. So there you guys have it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know if you guys agree or disagree with our picks. And with that said, we will see you guys next week for UFC 300. I think it's next week, right?
Yeah,
Dude, I
I
can't
think
wait
it
for
is. Yeah.
that one. It's going to be a banger. So Pure Pick, Pure Picks fam, we will see you guys next week. Good luck for this card, and let's get these units.